Have you noticed how very few people these days listen to each other? They're all very keen on getting their own point of view over, but not so keen on learning what other people have to say. And that's just typical, I think, very of a modern kind of approach to the world. In the past, it used to be the case that listening was the way to learn things and to gain greater knowledge and understanding of the situation around you, the world about you. But these days, people don't really seem to need to do that, possibly because they think they know everything already anyway. So listening has become a kind of a pastime thing from the past, and not a thing which is done in the present anymore. Listening is something which other people do to you. It's not what you do to other people. It's one of those things then which is disappearing rapidly in our world today, particularly in the face of the social media, where it seems to exist purely for the sake of people wanting to get their views out, but not to learn about whether they might be right or wrong about their views. Carl Rogers, the clinical psychologist, said that human beings generally were incredibly poor at listening. In fact, he made his whole clinical psychology case and his whole approach to his work upon learning to listen and teaching other people how to listen too. He said very often, most people, they can't listen to anyone else because they're too busy wrapped up in what they want to say themselves. That often means that you can't understand what other people are saying because you're not really listening to them. You're thinking of what you're going to say next. He said, try this as an experiment. The next time you're in a deep conversation with someone and you're disagreeing with them and you hold different points of view, stop the conversation. Get each person to restate the argument of their opponent to their opponent's satisfaction. What you find will often surprise you. What you find is that, you state what you think is their view, you state what you think is the truth of the opposing view, and you'll find very often you're corrected, put right. You missed something out, maybe something important out, maybe you missed a lot of things out, maybe you've missed the whole sense of the argument properly, maybe you've got the wrong end of the stick, maybe you've got the whole jolly thing wrong. It's surprising how much we don't listen when we should. How much we think that we've listened, how much we think we've understood, when we don't really understand at all. It all comes down to learning to listen. But being prepared to listen is fundamentally life-changing in two very important ways. First of all, it's dangerous. It's dangerous because, it might change you. If you listen to what other people have to say, you might actually take on board something that you've never heard of before, something which you've never realized before, something which you're prepared to maybe change your own views about. That's the danger of really listening. The other danger is that you might actually gain some wisdom. I wouldn't call that a danger necessarily, but it's a wisdom in the sense that you might begin to realize you don't actually know everything that you think you know. And there's a whole pile of things that you don't know at all. That is also a dangerous thing to discover about yourself, simply because, we like to think that we know quite a bit, and we'd like to be quite proud of the knowledge that we have. And to learn that we don't actually know a whole host of things can be quite a shock to many people. It was not a shock, though, to Socrates. Socrates, remember, was one of the earliest philosophers, and he had the incredible distinction of being labelled as the wisest man in the world at the time by the Delphic Oracle. Delphic Oracle was asked who's the wisest person. They said Socrates. Socrates says, that can't be true. I don't know anything. That's why it can't be true. I don't know anything at all. I can't be sure of what I know. All I am is on a journey of investigation and trying to learn more. But the point about the Delphic Oracle was that it wasn't what you knew or what you didn't know. It was the fact that you're on that journey to learn, to openly learn, to be able to change your point of view if it's wrong, to learn new things if the old things are incorrect, And you only get to that point if, like Socrates, you value the things which you don't know more than you value the things that you do know. And then that's where it becomes dangerous again. Because then you are open up to being a new kind of thinker, a new kind of person, new points of view, and you're willing to change your mind about things. That's the whole reason, I suppose, why the listening has fallen out of practice these days. People are not prepared to change their minds. They already know what the answers are to all the important questions of life, so what's the point of listening? But if you don't, then, unlike Socrates, you will not be a wise person.